Hi there, welcome to the side quest, the quests we do in between our regular quests, where we just chill out a bit, talk about geek culture or pop culture or just anything that happens to be on our mind at the moment. Today we've got our usual crew, well, most of them. We've got myself, Steve Wetherell. We have Robert Bevan. We have Rick Walteri. We also have our special guest. If you've listened to the Mimic Chest, you'll already be familiar with her podcast experiences with her. We have E.M. Kaplan. Emily, how you doing?
Hello, I'm sick as hell.
Wow, you sound it.
I've literally crawled out of my deathbed to be here because podcasting is way more fun than dying.
Well, not to take away from the dying, Emily, but I just wanted to point out for people who haven't heard Emily on the Mimic Chest, get on Patreon and give us some money, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that I'm fine. Thanks for asking, Steve.
What? You're not very well as well.
No, I'm
Bevan.
fine. But
Oh, you're fine.
would have been nice to be asked.
All right. Well, we've already deduced that Emily dying is not as important as people giving us money, and I think that's the message I want people to take away from Emily's sacrifice.
Yeah, and Bob, if you're sick, you have an instant backup because I'm here.
We've got Robert Bevan and healthy Robert Bevan with us today.
I'm not sick. I'm fine. I'm just saying Rick and I didn't get asked how we were. He just jumped straight into Emily. Oh, Emily, how are you doing?
And if you haven't given to our Patreon, give to the Robert Bevan Get Well Fund.
Save Bevan.
I want to see if we can get this moving.
Nobody gives a shit.
I'd like to find some way to blame this illness on A&D Con still. Is it too late for that?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll just save it in a jar for next year.
That was some pretty...
Mucus?
Yeah, Steve. Why did you get Bob sick, Steve?
Oh, yeah. It's all my fault. You know, I met somebody at the con, Becky, if you're out there, or Beck, and I went to shake hands with her, and she said, I'm not shaking anyone's hand. And I thought she was just kind of like being cool. And then I was ill for a very long time. And lots of other people were ill.
Did it feel like snot?
What did what feel like snot?
Her hand.
No, I didn't shake her head.
Oh.
So I don't know. It might feel like snot.
Beck was not patient zero that time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like she was walking around saying, I won't shake your hand, but I will spit the fuck in your mouth.
Yeah, she's actually the nicest person on the whole planet.
Oh, yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she wouldn't deliberately make everybody ill. In fact, she didn't.
You did.
Yeah. Look, we're just speculating that it was me. It could have been anyone.
You brought those vile UK germs with you to our pristine American wonderland.
Oh my God, it's colonization all over again.
We didn't need health care until you came along.
Damn you and your smallpox.
All right.
Oh, smallpox. That's probably the worst thing ever that sounds adorable.
Yeah, it's like tiny pox. It's not like big pox, giant pox. That sounds pretty threatening. Oh, it's only smallpox.
It sounds like a Hello Kitty disease.
Hello, smallpox.
They should make a character on Blue's Clues called Smallpox.
Oh, I'm gonna have a character in something called Smallpox now.
It might curb the whole anti-vaxxer movement. Nice little dose of smallpox might wake them fuckers up. Who knows?
And here's our adorable friend Smallpox. He kills everything he touches.
Next shingles.
You need to have a word with your mum about her political views, Timmy. Smallpox is going to be a recurring character. Okay, yeah, well, Emily is with us, E.M. Kaplan. She writes the Josie Tucker mystery series, amongst other things, so please do go and check that out if you get a moment. She's not usually this sick, but,
Not outwardly.
not just in the soul, like the rest of us.
I would like to mention, though, that I am currently at work on the Absolutely True Confessions of Fandango the Fantastical.
Nice. We haven't had an A&D origin story for a while.
Not from a stranger.
Well, this is the first, I guess, non-A&D member contribution to that canon.
I don't know. She's not entirely non-A&D.
Well, yeah. She's sort of like the fifth Beatle.
I'm being assimilated.
Yeah, and since John pretty much told us that, like, we have to wait till sometime the next century for him to get around to it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that is something to be excited about. If Emily doesn't die, we should be getting a new A&D book sometime in the future. But on to our subject. And I thought we'd talk about what everybody's probably talking about at the moment. Disney Plus, the new streaming service from multimedia entertainment conglomerate Disney.
Oh my God, that fits in so well with what we were talking about. Like the song, "It's a smallpox after all." That's how it goes, right?
That ride is so decrepit and dirty. I wouldn't be surprised if there's actual smallpox in it.
That's fair. So, has anybody signed up to the new streaming service yet?
No.
I'm bitter about it.
You're bitter about it? What? Because
I'm bitter about it because I was bitching about this on Twitter this week. Is that my cable provider has basically said, "Oh, by the way, if you're a member of our wireless thing, or if you have this service, or if you have this service, we'll give you a year free of Disney Plus." So I'm like, "Oh, right, great. Let me look it up." And I went out and I'm like, "Oh, what about all the services I get?" And they're like, "Fuck you, eat a bag of dicks. You can pay for it."
Well, allow me to lance your first world problems there, Rick, because we don't even get it in the UK until next year. Those motherfuckers. Hey, you'll take our fucking accents and our actors, won't you? You'll fucking appropriate our talent to sell your movies.
Yeah, he's like, "Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim, fuck you."
Yeah, so I'm excited about Disney Plus, also fucking furious about it.
So explain to me exactly, well, if you know what you get if you subscribe to Disney Plus.
Smallpox.
Well, I know everybody's talking about The Mandalorian, obviously.
That's what I really want to see, and I was so tempted because I don't pirate things, but I know people who do, and I was at their house the other day and they're looking at their pirated material. And it's like, oh, you've got The Mandalorian. Dare I sell out my flimsy enough principles? I didn't, but I'm tempted. I probably shouldn't say it on a podcast. I will be killed by people in Mickey Mouse hats.
Well, no, you're good. You just said you didn't.
I don't know if that's a strong enough defense in this day and age of massively powerful entertainment conglomerates. I don't know if this podcast will suddenly disappear.
Oh, maybe re-edit that later and be like, my friends were pirating it, so I burned their house down because fuck you, pirates.
We'll just get a load of comments in the YouTube saying, so which friends were these? Names and addresses. And then I'll get a photo of my house in the comments and the school where my children play. I should imagine.
No, actually, I would say do the opposite. Go to Disney and offer to sell out your pirate friends in order to get early access to Disney Plus.
Oh, that's tempting.
Because that right there is the American way, right?
The snitch system.
Sell out your friends for stuff. Yeah.
Snitches get stitches and Disney Plus.
Snitches get very rewarded in this day and age.
So I could sit there and heal while watching Darkwing Duck.
I am excited about The Mandalorian. I'm also excited about the rumored, I don't know if confirmed yet, She-Hulk series. We've been banging on about having female superheroes for a while now, justifiably so. Everybody's like, oh, Captain Marvel, Black Widow. I'm not really that interested in, but I am interested in She-Hulk. She was a big character when I was reading comics, and I think it would make a very entertaining series.
Yeah, I mean, they could really go kind of the Deadpool route with that, because like She-Hulk is one of those characters like Deadpool who can break the fourth wall just to to talk to the viewer.
Well, she was doing that long before Deadpool. Yeah, that's right.
You know what? I'm just going to assume that Disney owns everything now. Because, I can't even keep it all straight. There's Marvel, There's Star Wars. There's, I don't know, Sesame Street.
Pixar, Fox. Yeah, they pretty
Jesus.
much own everything. National Geographic.
Well, you know a good way to tell if they don't own it? Basically, it's another streaming service. So can you watch Star Trek on it? No. So obviously, no. You have to pay for fucking CBS All Access.
Yeah, it's going down a weird route where I suddenly have to just pay for several individual streaming services rather than convoluted cable. It's still better than cable, but I'm still cheap.
Yeah.
So
yeah, same here. I mean, my thing is going to be Disney Plus strikes me as kind of like one of those ones that I'm eventually going to get because there's just so much on it that I can watch. Whereas I look at like CBS All Access and I'm like, okay, they have Star Trek and nothing else I even remotely give a shit about.
that's absolutely fair. Robert Bevan, as a man who famously watches nothing, what are you looking forward to about Disney Plus?
I don't give a shit about Disney Plus. I got Netflix and Cartoon Network, and that, if I lost either one of those, I'd just say, I need to get more work done anyway.
I don't think Cartoon Network is its own streaming service.
No, but that's the only thing I watch on cable.
There's Bob's neighbor is like convinced them to like pay him $5 a month. No, and then you can watch Cartoon Network.
I do love Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I take advantage of my Netflix, but it's mostly just Teen Titans Go, Amazing World of Gumball when the kids are awake, and then whatever Adult Swim's got to throw at me at night.
Now, I hear you there. I mean, I have Verizon Fios here, and it's like 1,000 channels, and of those channels, maybe I watch 3.
That's a good point. There's so many things I want to watch now. Oh, that looks really interesting. I'm never going to watch it. I'm never going to go through the rigmarole of signing up to something new, or I don't not pirate because I'm a moral person. I don't pirate because I'm a deeply lazy person. But it's just like, that sounds great. That sounds really interesting. That's some great original content you got there, buddy. Keep it up. I'll be over here watching YouTube videos about people playing video games.
I think I'm I guess I would call it an a la carte kind of viewer, where you know what you want to watch and you go out and you find it, like Game of Thrones. And then as soon as it's done, you unsubscribe.
I see you're very organized. I always forget to unsubscribe. And then I wonder why I have no money.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, I get a call fucking once a week from whatever I have, and then they like, oh hey, we want to offer you free yada yada for 3 months. And, hey, 3 months should be long enough to for him to forget he has it and then start paying for it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I lost my bank card the other day and I had to cancel it. And it was the best thing I ever did. I got all these notifications coming up and I go, we couldn't take your payment for this subscription thing you forgot about 3 years ago. I'm like, good, you fuckers. I'm not renewing that. I don't even know what this is anymore.
So the trick is just to periodically lose your card.
Enough, you got to have enough incompetence that they take advantage of you, but then be so incompetent that your incompetence cancels out your incompetence. That's how I go through life. Yes.
Just exist off of nothing but like those $50 Visa gift cards and just give those out.
That to me would be a very kind of moral way of doing it. If you said, all right, I'm going to subscribe to your service, and every month they had to ask you, do you want to renew this subscription? Or, even every 3 months. I think that would be because, 90% of their income must be from twats like me who just forgot. It's like, they've got Preacher. Oh, I want to watch that. And then you watch it, and then you never watch anything else again on it.
Well, I think the problem is, deep down we all know better, but I think in our minds we want to live in this idyllic world where when we sign up for a free trial, at the end of the free trial, we're automatically unsubscribed unless we opt in to pay. And the reality is, none of them fucking work that way.
Yeah. Well, if they did work that way, they'd go bust instantly.
Or they wouldn't offer it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the other option is I really like the idea of just paying for what I want to watch, but it's so prohibitively expensive to do that that
Yeah.
I will never do that. So, oh, the new Game of Thrones is out. I am not paying fucking $5 an episode.
And you know what? Why can't I do that? Why can't I say, hey, I'm going to give you the first Critical Failures book for free, and then I'm going to charge your credit card every month?
Oh God, we should do that with shingles.
Oh my God, that's genius. A Shingles subscription.
If we just pulled our A&D content, we could fleece a lot of rooms.
No, it's you pay for you get shingles, but you have to pay for the shingles vaccination to get rid of it.
You get shingles for free. Smallpox, that's going to cost you.
Yeah. Well, how much is the vaccination? Well, it's a lot cheaper if you buy shingles insurance.
It is a bit seedy. I understand it. I understand why they do it. But
Yeah, to fucking rob you.
Yeah.
You're saying I understand it like it's like, oh well, I get where they're coming from, so don't blame them. No, it's fucking robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much everything is robbery. You don't need any of this.
Yeah, but
shit.
some of this shit is blatantly bullshit. Like you were mentioning the expense. Like that's one of the reasons I refuse to have an Apple TV, because I've gone onto the iTunes store and it's like just to buy a single episode. It's like, fuck no. I would rather wait until like Game of Thrones ends up on like in the bargain bin of the DVD section than pay that fucking money.
Yeah, I don't even know who's got the money to fucking keep up with the Joneses like that. I mean, it used to be when there were very few subscription services about, it made a lot of financial sense. All the new stuff was coming out on subscription services. If you wanted to watch something before it was spoiled for you, and you could talk to around the water cooler, if they still have those, I don't know. A subscription was a good choice. But now there's fucking a million of the fuckers.
Oh, yeah. And then there's the whole thing of you can pay for every subscription service on the planet, but if you want to watch something early, you still have to then pay extra for like pay-per-view or something. And then there's the added bullshit of I'll go onto Amazon and be like, hey, here's a new movie. Okay. You can either rent or buy, and then I'll go in it and be like, no, it's not available for rental until it comes out on DVD, but you can buy it early for like $30, and it's like, fuck you. Like if I'm gonna pay $30 for it, I at least want a disc that I can lose like 6 months from now.
Yeah. I want something that can just massively depreciate in value when I accidentally get my maple syrup fingerprints on it, at least. But that is quite thinking about. I didn't mean this to turn into a boomer rant, but it's fucking gone. It's just strap in, millennials.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of at the stage where I can remember, in Britain at least, in America I know it's very different. You've always had a lot more TV than we had. But back then you had terrestrial, which was 4 channels and eventually 5. Or you had Sky, which was all the fucking channels. And there was such because I came from kind of a middle class family. We had Sky, and everybody would be like, oh, did you watch Friends last night? And everyone's talking this different language because I was watching this sci-fi channel to 3 a.m. hoping for some side boob. And it's just, it's a very isolating experience. And I think we're kind of maybe in the real world conversation, it's like, oh, did you watch this? Oh, no, because I'm subscribed to this. I'm not paying another fucking $10 a month for that.
Yeah, I mean, I used to, when I was a kid, I used to have HBO. And the thing with HBO and Showtime was that was the place to go if you wanted to see a Mike Tyson fight or so. And then suddenly the boxing world and the wrestling world discovered pay-per-view. And they were like, wow, rather than like paying like $20 a month and you can watch this whenever the fuck you want, we'll charge you a one-time fee of double that so you can watch him knock out somebody in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Did you see the fight last night? No, I didn't, Money McBaggins.
Instead, I blinked.
Well, I thought I did, but, I went up to get a cup of tea, and then I came back and realized I'd been robbed. Fucking pirate charlatan bastards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for like the next level of that, which is with smart TVs and cameras and everything, where you can't do like, inviting 20 friends over to watch WrestleMania because it will charge you for each one of them who's in the room.
That's very credible. I mean, he said that like it was a joke, but I reckon that's pretty fucking credible. Yeah, I mean, you said this earlier, like Bevan. I said, I understand that's the way it is. And you said, fuck those guys. But The Mandalorian, apparently, is probably one of the most expensive TV programs ever made. And the fact is, we can't get Game of Thrones and all this fucking spectacular nonsense without them fleecing us like a bunch of highway bandits.
Yes, we can. People are paying shit for this. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, or I don't think any of them starving to death. I'm just saying it shouldn't be deceitful.
Yeah, okay, no, yeah, I get that.
They're not giving me free HBO. They're giving me something to forget about in 3 months, and so that I'm paying for HBO that I don't watch.
Yeah, and let's be honest. A lot of production, costs and stuff. Something you would have put all those money into special effects. I'm all for that. But when you basically say, "Oh well, we want to get this celebrity and pay them $20 million," I'm happy with you just picking somebody off the street and paying them $20, and making my price cheaper. Or I'm more than happy if you don't pay the CEO of Disney, $70 billion a year.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to do something really interesting, that's not always about the money. I mean, historically, there's been a lot of, well, take the Joker movie, for example. I think that's one of the cheapest movies ever to break $1 billion. Hardly any special effects. Wasn't even sold in China, so definitely not made for the China market. And fucking made bank just by being, say what you like about it being controversial. That's a fine argument. But it was at the very least interesting. So you can be interesting without having to, have a gold-plated toilet in your office.
Yeah, you put clown makeup on Joaquin Phoenix and kick his ass for 2 hours.
Just point the camera at him and say, just, be a fucking weirdo for a couple of weeks and we'll cut something together. He knows what he's doing. He's a weird guy. Charismatic weird guy.
So I didn't really have any interest in watching The Mandalorian, which is probably, I have to turn in my nerd card or whatever. But
you do. I'm ending the podcast right now. Goodbye, everybody.
Until I saw on Facebook someone posted that picture of Baby Yoda.
Oh my
God.
That made me not want to watch.
That I saw that and immediately, I was maybe an 8 at watching The Mandalorian. That just clicked me down to maybe a 5.5.
I was always 10. One of my earliest memories of Star Wars, because I had the VHSs as a young boy, is trying to recreate Sarlacc pit scene with Duplo bricks, because that's all I had, because I loved Return of the Jedi and I loved Boba Fett. I know he went out like a bitch, but that's how that is how minions used to go out in the 80s. You had a really cool minion and they die in a stupid and humiliating way. That's just how we used to do things. So I got that, but he was still very cool. So I always liked the idea of and I was a bit disappointed they never put any of the kind of Mandalorian culture or any other bounty hunters in any of the new Star Wars movies, but now I understand they didn't do that because they were planning this. So I am absolutely stoked to see it. And hearing about the production values and that it might actually be an interesting series rather than just trying to blind me with nostalgia, which I am absolutely open to, as I've just revealed. I really am excited about seeing it, and I'm fucking furious at Disney for not letting me do so legally.
No, I hear that. I mean, I mentioned Star Wars before. It used to be that, okay, on Channel 11, whatever, that's where you could count on a new Star Wars, Star Trek series coming. And now it's I didn't really give a shit too much about Discovery, but now I'm like, oh, Picard. I'm so tempted. At the same time, no, CBS All Access, I am not going to give you my money because essentially I refuse to watch to pay you that much money a month for one show.
Yeah. you're paying for the flag there, and there's very little beneath that flag. And you're going to pay for the Star Trek. You're going to pay for as long as it takes to run.
Yeah.
And then they're hoping that you forget that you're not interested in anything else at all on that channel.
Yeah.
That I don't mind. That, I mean, at least you know what you're getting into. That's your risk to take. But is that
is true.
I'm going to give it to you free.
Bevan, you're a complicated moral man. I enjoy talking to you about moral quandaries.
No, I'm with you all the way. I would rather you show up to my door and basically say, I'm going to sell you this thing, and it is going to completely fuck you up the ass, rather than like, you know, being like, oh, here's this great deal, and then find out like 6 months later, oh, how come I'm having a problem sitting? Oh, they've been doing this to me all along.
There's a dick in my ass. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. If I had absolute power, like Disney does, for a limited time, I would say all subscription services have to have an opt-in renew after 6 months. I think that's fair.
Well, that's how the EU handles, like mailing lists too. You have to have the opt-in, but with the Americans, they don't really give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're opting out of the EU because apparently we like being fucked. So I can't speak for the EU anymore. They are a distant bastion of reasonable thinking. That is just not British. So
Rick, with your service provider, is that the kind of thing where if you call up and threaten to cancel, they'll give you they'll bargain you back in?
No, you know what? Some of the service providers will do that, and I'm more than happy to say I'm with Verizon, and fuck those guys. But it has been my experience that Verizon is large enough to not give a single shit. Where you call them up and say, I got a better deal with Comcast, I'm thinking about switching, they'll be like, that's nice, motherfucker. We just turned you off. Wait, it was a bluff. No, stop. Okay, now you're going to pay us $50 to turn you back on.
Oh, you know what? There was some guy, and I think he might be getting sued, but he invented an app that tracks all your free subscriptions, so you know when to unsubscribe.
Of course, he's getting sued.
I think they're trying to probably murder him. Wouldn't that be nice?
They're gonna Epstein him.
Technology keeps on getting around this shit. It's like, oh, you've got to have adverts. Technology's like, but do we? It's like, oh, we're going to subscribe you to something. It's like, but are you? Yeah. Well, it's rely on those nerds, man. They're gonna save us all.
Well, it's the same bullshit on Facebook where it's like, hey, everybody's like, hey, look at this cool thing I'm sharing. Oh, okay, let me check it out. And you go there, and the first thing is like, oh, well, we want access to every fucking bit of information you've ever done. Hello? And it's like, I got an idea. Why don't you go fuck yourself?
The amount of headlines I read are going, oh, that can't be right. And I click on it. It's like, well, you can find out if this is right if you just subscribe to us. And I'm like, well, it's not right then, is it? It's like, there's no way you'd charge me. If this truth was that important, you probably wouldn't be charging me for it. So I'm just going to assume you're a filthy liar. Keep my money for moral things like cigarettes and cocaine.
I only read my news on upstanding websites like Huffington Post.
I get all my news from angry people on the internet, as God intended.
Yeah, Twitter. It'll tell you everything you need to know about the world. And it will both make you laugh and want to drink cyanide at the same time.
Yeah. Everything you need to know about the world condensed through a lens of hatred. Yeah. What strange times we live in.
Yeah.
So, speaking of evil, back to Disney. How do we feel about the fact that they own so fucking much? Is that fair? Because I'm looking at it here. I'm looking at the Disney promotional screen. It says Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic. And that doesn't even mention a lot of the other stuff they've got. And that's a lot of original content that they just own now. They own the rights to it. No one else can step on that at all without being eaten by the mouse.
The Authors and Dragons podcast brought to you by Disney.
Just for the record, Disney, make us an offer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
if
just
you
gonna
want,
say they could own Caverns and Creatures series if for the right amount.
if you want us to 180 on this opinion completely, we are surprisingly cheap.
I don't know.
Yeah, best. Edit that part out.
Oh well, I'm talking compared to Disney here.
Oh, well,
It's like
yeah.
plate my house with gold, and they're like, "What? Just your house? Whatever, noob."
Yeah. It's one of those. It's like, okay, yeah, it might cost Disney like $100 billion if they wanted to buy Google. We are comparatively we are far more reasonable.
Like, my God, the next Authors and Dragons Con is going to be amazing. You can get all of the diseases.
Disney owns all of the diseases now.
To be fair,
you
you could have gotten that at the first con.
And a lot of people did, thanks to Steve.
Oh my God, I'm not taking responsibility for this.
All right, get into what you were saying, Steve. I'm of the mindset that I think antitrust laws need to be updated for for the digital for this new age, because I do think that when a company reaches a point where essentially it can just crash the global market by by the CEO taking a shit in the wrong toilet. I do think that at that point it probably has become too unwieldy to just leave alone.
Yeah, but the antitrust, I mean, it's such a different world to when that was kind of first hammered out successfully, I might add.
Well,
the digital world, it's so, well, put it this way, I voted Remain for the old Brexit thing. It's not that I'm entirely against Brexiters. I think there are perfectly valid reasons for not being in the EU, but one of the reasons I like the EU was all these countries banding together and saying, how about we stop letting these corporations fuck us? Because that's what you need. You need every country to agree to it, because otherwise it means nothing. It's like the, Google saying, oh, we have this policy, but not in China because they disagree with it. It's like, it's a bit difficult to manage.
You know what I want in the long run are these massive Godzilla-sized kaiju that are corporate sponsored. Disney, Amazon, Google, just battle it out on a grand scale, and who really cares about people, because it'll be fun to watch.
That's a fucking brilliant idea.
You know what makes me happy? And even though it kind of I guess kind of plunges us into a recession and shit like that. But what makes me happy is when you see a large company that has grown fat and powerful and arrogant, and then it just crumbles to dust because they can't something new comes out and they just decide, no, we're too powerful to need to compete.
They can't
steer fast enough. They're too big to steer. Yeah.
I mean, come on. In the 80s, no. You didn't want to badmouth Blockbuster, because Blockbuster was huge. They could have sent somebody to your door to collect those late fees out of your kneecaps.
Yeah. Where are you now, Blockbuster?
Yeah, the Bell Telephone Company. And they splintered onto the baby bells, and now everybody uses cell phones anyway.
Yeah. When I worked at AT&T, I worked at AT&T WorldNet, which was their competitor to AOL, and AOL was just they were just this huge, unsurmountable behemoth that we had no chance of ever catching up to. And now it's like, you see somebody like, oh, here's my email, so and so at AOL.com, and you just can't help but laugh at them. It's like go back to the 90s.
I love that. It's like, oh shit, my old MySpace account is up. I should probably take that down. Oh right, they need my AOL address. Well, that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, here's your flannel and your Nirvana mixtape.
I believe you wrote the password down on a notebook like a fucking caveman. Yeah, it's a weird, fast-moving world, and it's, regulation is just such a different and probably exciting to some sort of people ball game now. And it just seems odd to me that Disney can just go, we own that now. We own everything. All the things you like to watch, we own it. Get on our subscription service. And the danger is that somebody could probably buy so much popular entertainment that really they can just charge whatever the fuck they want.
Well, yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, the old antitrust laws basically said, okay, you own an entire market and nobody can compete. In this day and age, the companies have gotten smart where, okay, a Facebook is not the only social media around, but they own that. They pretty much like, have their own advertising service. They have a huge data mine. So instead of like being dominant in one thing and nobody can compete, it's almost like a joke that they have competitors, but that just don't mean anything, where they can look and say, oh, but look, Twitter still exists,
Yeah, but we're wising up to it because they're so big that they're saying, oh, well, we're a private company. If you don't like the way we do things, you can do something else. And it's like, you don't really function as a private company if you're the only person, if you're the only viable service like that, and you're buying up all the other, potential viable services. Are you a private company? It seems to me you're more like a public platform. It's an interesting time to be in.
I also think there is a difference in like public perception definitely plays a part in it because look at the difference between say Facebook and Disney. People fear Disney like and they're lawyers and shit, but people generally have a think fondly of Disney, whereas like if Facebook burned to the ground tomorrow, people would be there like just throwing more gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they don't have a catchy theme song, so fuck them.
And I'm not gonna say in even remote like let's not pretend that Disney is even any less evil. I think they're just a lot better at PR.
So think about like maybe 10 years, 5 years into the future. Do you have any predictions for other companies that exist today that might become huge and swollen as a tick as big as Disney?
Bevan Industries. We now have backpacks.
The chief distributor of smallpox in the modern world. You say that, but apparently I read a news story today. It's the Daily Mail, so take it with a hefty pinch of salt. Apparently a cowpox-like virus can be used to fight cancer, so maybe get in on that ground floor.
This will kill you before the cancer does, subsequently killing the cancer.
Everybody who survived A&D Con #1 is just immune to disease now.
Well, like whatever they made Botox out of, that botulism bacteria or whatever. They're injecting it right into your forehead.
What an ingenious species we are. We really are. A mad horror story of a species.
I want to go out on a limb and say Pornhub.
Pornhub. That's just got to fucking own things. That'd be brilliant if it escaped into the real world. Pornhub educational programs, Pornhub drive-thrus. Yeah, why not?
Something I can kind of see it happening because every so often Pornhub makes it in the news for something that's only like tangentially porn related, and it always seems to be for something good. So,
yeah, exactly.
Well, Amazon used to be about secondhand books. Now they're about everything. Pornhub is just like, you can get your groceries delivered to you by a prostitute.
They're like planting trees or whatever.
Trees planted all over the place by prostitutes.
Their April Fool's Day campaign's usually pretty funny every year. They have people who are thinking about things over there. So I'm interested in seeing if something comes of it.
Aha. I appreciate that joke. That was good. Oh, yeah, basically, if you can provide everyday services with porn stars, I don't see why I would go to any other service. That sounds like you've sewn up the market there.
Watch it, Disney.
Yeah. Don't be too fucking secure on top of the mountain there, Disney.
And just for the record,
a duck with no pants isn't going to cut it.
Kind of makes you wonder why hasn't anybody like opened an adult theme park and just said, leave your fucking kids at home.
Porn world.
Yeah.
Oh, That's very credible. That's so credible. I don't even think it's a joke anymore. Yeah, porn-related theme park will happen in our lifetimes. I'm calling it.
We're all quietly imagining the gift shop.
Yeah. I'm like sorry, kids. You're staying with the sitter today. You know, they just opened up their new ride, the ejaculator.
Oh my God, it's definitely going to happen. It's going to be glorious. The human extinction process is going to be the wildest ride. Yeah.
You know something? We should be taking notes on this shit we're talking, because I mean, if you think of like A&D Con, one of the things that people were, I think, really appreciated was the fact that most conventions you go to, they are decisively PG. I mean, you know, it's like I'll go to one and I'm like, okay, should I really put out goddamn freaky monsters? Because like 5-year-old Timmy's gonna walk by, you know, and his mother's gonna scream at me. Whereas like A&D Con, we pretty much just unabashedly said, we're fucking A&D, we're fucking Authors and Dragons Con, you know. No, we don't want your kids there.
So you'd say that logically the next step is like full-on hardcore porn. That's what I get for this conversation.
You know, just for the record, we were joking before, but Pornhub presents Authors and Dragons sounds even better than Disney presents Authors and Dragons.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like more of a shared market space.
Easily bought. And then Emily and Rachel can finally have the appropriate platform to
for our herpes series.
for your herpes series, yes. Oh God, weird times. All right, okay, change of direction. We've gone too far into the porno country here now. We need to escape from this.
You can never go too deep into porno country.
Deeper.
All right, here's a fun thought exercise for you. Disney pretty much owns everything we love at the moment. If you could have the choice, the next thing they own that you love, what would it be?
Caverns and Creatures.
Not your own product. That's cheating.
That
obviously
wasn't in the rules until I said it.
Oh yeah, well now I'm changing the rules. Pray I don't change them again, because Disney now owns that phrase as well. I should probably not say it accurately. Okay, so it does not financially benefit you in any way. What would you like to see Disney own? Doesn't have to be entertainment, could be anything. Like
Pringles, mayo cheese, or whatever that was. Mayo.
It could be Pringles. Disney could buy Pringles, yes. And,
I say Disney buys Verizon, therefore now I get my free year of Disney Plus.
I did say not a financial benefit to you.
Okay.
How about like a space station?
Yeah, Disney space travel.
It'd be like a Disney cruise to space.
They could carve a Mickey Mouse visage on the moon.
I mean, if it's not of personal financial interest to me, I don't give a shit. In fact, I mean, the whole point of what we've been talking about is they're too powerful already. I'd like, maybe they could own like something that's going to hurt them. Like, I don't know.
Smallpox.
Like Caverns and Creatures.
Yeah, there you go.
Look, we've talked about the harsh reality of like huge corporate interests and where that takes us as a society. I'm now talking about the whimsical kind of advantages of having something in the world with some severe Disney dollar and PR behind it. Just ignore the horror for a moment and concentrate on the whimsy. That's what Disney want us to do. That's what we're going to do.
I'm taking my ball and going home.
I would say only because it's one of the only other streaming channels I'm considering. Buy DC, therefore I don't have to spend money on that on theirs.
Rick's breaking the rules still.
Oh, personal gain.
Yep.
That's not personal gain. That's just less loss.
You got to stop thinking with your wallet, Rick. This is about whimsy. It's about whimsy.
Think with your dick.
Well, I was gonna say the White House American politics, but that would, I guess that's personal gain.
Think with your
Well, it'd
dick.
be
I'm
it'd be
trying.
great, if the next presidential election had more musical numbers. I'd be up for that. And the good thing about Disney musical numbers is that the characters are always honest when they're singing.
Hmm.
So they'd
But
have
they
no.
have to have dead parents. They have to have talking animals.
Yeah,
You know something?
yeah, it sounds great.
Absolutely no
Feist.
gain to me, just because I think it would be amusing. Disney buys the United Kingdom.
I've already put forward this proposal of turning the UK post EU membership into a theme park. You can have Victorian world, Tudor world. You can have a fucking Lord of the Rings world. I've got it all set out, mate. I can turn this country around.
Disney buys North Korea, starvation world.
Jesus. Why would anybody want to visit starvation? Well, except for you, Rick, you sick bastard.
We have fat people.
Yeah, no, UK under Disney would be fucking great. I've already planned all this out. You give all the homeless people, you go, all right, you can carry on doing what you're doing. We're going to pay you a little bit a day. All you got to do is wear this whimsical costume. And he's like, you work in the service industry. You're still going to be a barmaid, but you're going to wear this whimsical costume. We're going to pay you extra to do that.
One more rule. You can't talk with a real Cockney accent. You have to talk like Dick Van Dyke doing a Cockney accent.
Exactly. No, yeah. There'll be Game of Thrones world.
I'm definitely buying a fast pass to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. Well, no, it's like the whole Windsor will become, the royal family will be owned. So they're not free people anymore. They have to do a parade every couple of days. And when they're not doing a parade, there's people walking around with paper mache royal heads on.
Yeah, and they're not the Windsor family anymore. They're the Cinderella family.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to change the name.
Our royal family will definitely have some new additions. Yeah, I could really fucking make this country work. Disney, hit me up. I got some ideas. We've got a lot of outdated, whimsical views that the rest of the world has about us, and I think we should capitalize on that. Like in a Harry Potter world, turn Wales into some kind of Hobbit garden. That'd be great. Yeah, I got a vision.
Yeah, except Disney doesn't own Harry Potter.
Oh, they will.
And they don't own the Hobbit either.
If they own the UK, they own all of these UK things. They own the Rowling estate. They own everything. They just buy up everything. So we can have David Bowie land, turn Liverpool into the Beatles land. It pretty much is already. I have so many plans.
Slaves.
Yeah, basically slaves.
No, that's my contribution. If Disney owned slaves, once that got out, that'd take them down a couple notches pretty quick.
Jesus Christ, Bevan. I said whimsy. Whimsy, Bevan.
All right. Did I break a rule?
You didn't break a rule. You just bent it so far that it's in its own asshole.
I feel like we're coming full circle, though.
I only shoot Disney brand heroin.
With the slavery, we're coming full circle with the zippity doo dah song.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, Bevan, you might have just stepped in something there that you can't pull your boot out of.
That's fine. Because, my sacrifice will benefit how many millions of people, content creators.
It's strangely noble of you in a very twisted way.
You're welcome, world.
You're a complicated man. You're a complicated moral man, and I enjoy our conversations about moral.
Bob ends up running the resistance all because he's bitter that they bought slaves instead of caverns and creatures.
It seemed like a better investment.
All right, so we've got the entirety of the UK from Rick. I heartily endorse that. We've got slaves from Bevan. I don't know how I feel about that. Emily, what do you think Disney should buy next?
Pornhub.
Pornhub, that's fine.
Oh man, you're just turning full circle on that. Pornhub was our only hope a few minutes ago.
And now it's part of the problem.
They're going to have to crack open Disney from the inside out.
My God. This podcast is probably the sexiest podcast we've ever done.
They're going to give Disney gonorrhea.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a lot of Disney porn out there that Disney doesn't technically own at the moment. So I guess this is probably them just taking back the market.
If you've ever wondered about Ron Jeremy and Daisy Duck, Emily Kaplan has your solution.
And let's face it, we all have.
I'll write that down for the next episode of Herpes.
Ron Jeremy in a goofy hat. Yes.
What?
And
just a goofy hat because he really doesn't need a goofy covering.
But I'm going to give a serious suggestion because this is something I really want to see. I'd like to see Disney buy Nintendo. Because I would love big old Nintendo theme park. I think that would be magical as fuck. That would make me happy.
So what does Disney bring to the picture? They bring money. Obviously.
No,
what else do you need, really?
Yeah.
But they also bring like a freaking 3-hour line to everything in the whole world.
Yeah, to see Disney would then have their own video game output. So you'd get all the, Disney titles going through the Nintendo filter. So you'd have quality Disney games.
No, you'd have
Nintendo.
Nintendo titles going through a Disney filter. And I don't know how I like about that.
You know something? Link would be in the next Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I mean that's fine to me as long as they were. Well, it's ideal situation. Disney buys Nintendo and trusts Nintendo to do what they do anyway, but with the Disney titles, and then Nintendo trusts Disney to do what they do and make the movies and the cartoons and the theme parks.
It's a Mickey Mouse.
Mario and Mickey Mouse Garden Adventure, why not? Nintendo educational programs at the same kind of quality and accessibility as the Mickey Mouse Funhouse. I see nothing wrong with this.
I would like to beat the shit out of Goofy in Smash Brothers.
You can beat the shit out of Goofy in Smash Brothers. That's another advantage I didn't think of until you said it.
I want to see Disney turn, under this suggestion, take the Haunted Mansion and turn it into a life-size Luigi's Mansion.
Exactly.
Ooh, no, all right, you're starting to win me over here.
I'm turning you guys around. You must see the advantages of this.
How about Disney buys the Vatican? We could have.
It's me, the Pope.
We can have all the children we want.
Oh my God! How did we get worse than slavery? Oh, you people now have to kill a dream, don't you?
That'd be an awesome theme park, though.
Unless you're under 5.
Must be under this height to ride.
Kids ride for free.
You could have a really cool catacomb themed ride.
I don't know.
Hey kids, get online for Altar Boy Mountain.
Oh my God.
No, it's not a ride. Oh my God. This has gone to a really dark place for a Disney podcast. Oh, well, I don't know what I was expecting. All right, so we have the Vatican. Maybe not such a good idea. The entirety of the UK. Excellent idea. Slavery. Let's back away from that one. Nintendo. Surprisingly practical idea when you think about it, I think. Any other suggestions about what Disney should own?
I think, I'm going to bring back the space station idea because I think they could do something with time travel. We need more planets to inhabit.
Yeah. Space travel owned by Disney. They've got the funds, they got the means, they've got the whimsical attitude.
They need to buy Elon Musk.
Just really expand their World of Tomorrow program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dogfights.
You get Goofy to referee an actual dogfight.
That's like the,
I
NFL.
no, I got a better one. Bum fights.
Oh my God. Well, I guess Goofy could probably referee that as well.
Planned Parenthood.
Well, yeah.
You just have to watch episode after episode of Mickey Mouse Playhouse.
Yeah.
That's pretty much birth control.
That's sensible. That works. That's not horrifying. I know you probably meant it to be, Rick, but it's got some pragmatism that I appreciate.
Yeah, we're thinking of having kids. Well, here's like, a 15-hour loop of Hannah Montana.
Oh my God.
They just put you in one of those machines out of Clockwork Orange, but with Disney movies. Just say, this is basically what having children is like.
What's that shitty princess show they do? God damn it! Like my daughter watched it when she was like 2, and then we had a friend over who has a young girl, and and they put on Disney, and I can't believe they're still making episodes of this shit.
Wait.
It's do you know what I'm talking about? Anyone?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was going to say they need to buy Burger King so you can go and buy a Kim Possible Whopper.
I'm just imagining Bevan just marching into a room with his 2-year-old daughter and her friend and go, what is this shit? I can't believe they're still making episodes of this shit.
It is, I mean, there is good children's television. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I didn't enjoy it, but I mean, I got it at least. But
bet you still know the
Princess,
words to the hot dog, hot diggity dog song, though, don't you?
Absolutely, and I don't mind.
Yeah.
That's fuck it. They might be giants. That was awesome. Princess, what was her fucking name? What is her fucking name? Because she still exists.
Well, they don't start off in Disney princesses anytime soon, man.
But I mean, this is not even legit because it's just so badly animated and acted and everything. Oh God! Somebody said they knew what I was talking about.
Rick did.
No, not me. My kids are too tomboyish.
Yeah, my kids are cool. That's a lie. But I don't know. What do you just want me to go through the Disney princesses until you remember which one it is?
No, you guys keep talking.
It'll be like a BuzzFeed quiz.
What's the what's like the even kiddier than Disney Channel? Disney Kids or what? Disney fucking hell! I can't remember anything now.
They only have like a baby channel.
All right, you
But
guys
there's a
just
lot
keep
to keep
talking.
track
I'm
of.
going to Google
They
shit.
own a lot of shit. Oh, look at while we're on this subject. Now that Disney owns most of the creative universe, who's your new favorite Disney princess?
Oh God.
Black Widow.
There you go. I was going to say Hawkeye, but there you go. What? Yeah, let's go fully BuzzFeed. What Disney princess are you?
Oh, I was thinking you're going to go somewhere else with that.
We can do that next. We can make
Man,
this.
you know
weird.
what? There's so many. I can't even focus on this question. I have to pick like a realm. Am I
There's a lot to think about.
Sesame Street? Am I in Marvel? Am I in Star Wars?
Does Disney own Sesame Street?
Yeah.
My word. All right, I'm that big elephant geezer then. I'm that Disney princess.
Snuffleup, I guess.
So wait a minute. That means they own Dark Crystal, right? Henson Studios?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah, it must.
I'm going to pick Agra then.
That's a good choice.
The witch.
I think, didn't somebody say theoretically they own Alien? And therefore the Alien Queen is a Disney princess.
Oh, that's right.
Wait, that makes Miss Piggy a Disney princess. That's kind of cool.
Right?
I pick Miss Piggy.
Oh, you should just pick Frank Oz. He's a wonderful princess.
He is. He's the most wonderful Disney princess. Bevan, chime in. You've had time to think now.
I don't know. Belle. I have my mind on other things.
Well, she did get some beast.
There you go.
I'm actually. What doesn't Disney own at the moment, other than Netflix?
So DC.
Well, yeah, but nobody wants to own DC at the moment.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go ask my daughter about this.
I'll tell you what they don't own. They don't own Authors and Dragons. Because if they did, we sure as shit wouldn't be talking smack about them.
This podcast might conveniently disappear in such a scenario.
So they don't own J.K. Rowling.
Oh, they're going to own her. They're definitely going to own Harry Potter at some point. I can really see that happening. I was actually genuinely surprised when I thought about it that they don't already own Harry Potter. I mean, that's right up Disney Street. Like the magical nonsense. It's basically just bed knobs and broomsticks being a private school.
Castles.
Mm.
Magic.
Yeah. They must own magic by now, surely.
Sophia.
Sophia?
Fucking bitch.
The sad part is that meant nothing to any of us.
Was she just made up for a Disney series? She's not one of the proper Disney princesses.
Not a proper Disney princess. She's Disney Junior. That's the channel I was thinking of. No, it's just this shitty, poorly animated show that I mean, even with Disney money behind it, I cannot believe that it's still on the air. It's so bad.
All right. Well,
sorry. Did we have another question or?
No, we're still talking about Disney princesses. So.
Well, no. Like which ones we are, or did we?
Yeah, you said you were Belle. Remember?
Yeah, no. We're still on the same thing then.
Well, unless you want to change your choice.
Well, I'm not gonna be fucking Sophia.
Well, I was gonna say that tells you how like powerful Disney is. There's probably some VP whose stupid child loves that show inexplicably, and that's the only reason they keep making it. Even though now she's 30 years old. You know?
I changed my mind. I am Princess Sophia, because if I could, get that kind of money for this long without giving a shit, that's me.
That's a great reply.
Okay, so if you had a show that you wanted resurrected and remade by Disney, what would that show be?
Sophia, it wouldn't be fucking shit.
No, I'm going to give an example so you can think about it. like Firefly. There are people out there who love that show and wanted to, see it go on and on. I'm sure people would agree that Disney could make it if it would just come back.
That's a good question. A lot of people would be up for Firefly. I don't. It's a difficult question because I am, as much as I actually quite like a lot of the remakes now. Every time they announce a remake, I just want to punch someone. Yeah. I just want to punch a millennial.
Yeah, every time they announce,
am one.
Yeah, every time they announce a remake, it just reminds me that it's yet another asshole who did not buy the rights to build a vampire.
It's just another asshole who's getting paid a lot of money to do very little fucking work. Oh, what do people like? Oh, that thing they like. Yeah, well done. Have a fucking raise, you prick. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I was reading about Ghostbusters 2020. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I'm not interested. I've been put off Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I can see nothing but disappointment from that.
Yeah, they just shouldn't. They shouldn't. I mean, even if they do it really well, they could have put all that time and effort into just doing something else. We already have a Ghostbusters movie, and it was great. We don't need another one. Be that Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters 2016, and whatever they're about to shit out onto a screen now.
Oh man, I hope it's good.
Yeah, I'll swallow my pride if it's good. I always do. But tell me what, if it's bad, if it's 2016 bad, I will not shut up about it for 10 fucking years.
And also the problem with Disney now is they have a threefold approach with everything. Everything they take, like, so if they did take Firefly, then it would be, okay, here's Firefly the show. Now here's Firefly the cartoon. Oh, now here's Firefly the fucking musical.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to know what I think they should resurrect? It's a little known British game show for children called Nightmare. And the concept of Nightmare was it was basically kind of live improv acting D&D, where there was a dungeon master and 3 people, but there was a guy in a kind of video game world, one of their team, and he wore a helmet that covered his face, and they had to direct him through this Dungeons and Dragons world, and he'd meet poorly animated monsters that he had to avoid, and he'd get items, and he'd get people that set him riddles, and it was fucking magical. And the fact that it hasn't been remade is a travesty against culture. So Disney could resurrect that with a proper budget, not the shitty British budget we used to think was adequate in the old days. And I think that would be... look, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but there's someone listening to this podcast who is right now on their feet going, yes, Nightmare. And I'm talking specifically to that person. They know what I'm talking about.
Just because I want to fuck with them, Disney presents Red Shoe Diaries.
Oh, the Red Shoe Diaries. Oh my God, I remember that. God, we're so desperate before the internet.
Trying to think of a good one. I've got nothing. I'll come up with something while we're in the middle of our next topic.
I do really want to reiterate this for people. Please do go look up Nightmare, spelled Knight, mare.
Whoa!
Because night.
I see what they did there.
Yes, it was glorious. Do go check that out. You'll have a good time. And so many children died on it as well. I mean, not like actually died. I mean, like in the game.
The making of Nightmare.
Yeah, very, very few people.
Tragic tale.
Yeah, very few people won that game.
Now you just had my hopes of it that, like, that they just went and scoured the orphanages for, like, and be like, you got a choice. You can either go to the workhouse or be on Nightmare.
Well, here's a thing. They weren't, it wasn't particularly gruesome, but they did have this. It's like you had to pick up items and you had to pick up food, or you'd starve to death. And if you were starving to death, they'd have this CGI picture of the kid in the helmet. Bits of the helmet would start flowing away, and that's how you knew that it was going to die soon. Then bits of their skin would start flowing away, and then their skull would start flowing away, and then their eyeballs just kind of floated into the oblivion. It was fucking hardcore. You look that shit up. Nightmare. Guys, check it out. Disney, if you're listening, and I know you are, you're listening to everything. Resurrect it, man.
All right, I've got mine. Any of the shows from UHF, Weird Al's movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah,
all
just
of the shows.
Yeah, they were jokes, but yeah, give them a chance.
Well, they could do it like a kind of Tales from the Crypt thing, where it's introduced by Weird Al, and they just have like a different.
No, I want to see legit series Conan the Librarian.
I don't think these shows were suggested with longevity in mind.
Well, if anybody's got the money to pay writers to make it work, it's Disney.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
This is my choice. I'm sticking with it.
Conan the Librarian all the way. It'll be the Ally McBeal of the Zoomer generation.
Don't you know the Dewey Decimal System?
Oh man, we should really ATM that one. That was a classic. An underrated classic was UHF. Right, have we finished digging in the graveyard for corpses for Disney to resurrect with its dark magic. And by dark magic, I do mean money.
I don't know. Remakes depress me. Unless it's the remake of DuckTales. That's really fucking awesome.
Yeah. And they brought back Twin Peaks. That was good.
They did?
I don't mind when they bring something back and just say, all right, it's 30 years later. Let's go. It's when they try to pretend the original didn't happen and they can just kind of repackage it for people with shorter attention spans. That annoys me.
But the magic of Twin Peaks was all about the personality of Special Agent Dale Cooper, and we got about 10 minutes worth of that in the 30 years later series. Most of it was just like asshole evil Cooper.
We did get some like wonderful art house bullshit as well, which is kind of, you don't get a lot of that. And I think they needed that Twin Peaks label to do something a little bit interesting. And I will give a lot of leeway for something that's at least trying to be interesting.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm still in the fuck your remake camp. Yeah. And not just from a personal point of view.
No, I'm in it from a personal point of view. I'm with Rick.
Yeah.
I write shit you could be buying. Instead, you choose to remake shit that's already been done. Mm-hmm. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like one of those, you could have spent money and turned Bigfoot Hunters into a film, but no, you decided that for some reason the world needed a remake of RoboCop.
Emily, you want to join in a fuck yous here while we're getting out of our system?
I don't know. I think I'm not even sure if I'm gonna watch Disney Plus after all this.
I was pretty sure before this that I wasn't.
Right.
Yes.
I like to think we've taken a little bit of swing at the mouse there.
Yeah, we take a little swing at the mouse. Next week, everyone in Authors and Dragons mysteriously disappears.
You know what? I think we've done quite an interesting analysis of Disney Plus there. It's very exciting. It's very terrifying. It's very depressing. It's very whimsical. It's a divisive topic, but I think we can all agree they will continue to make huge amounts of money and own everything we hold dear.
And Disney, if you're listening, if you decide to buy any Authors and Dragons properties, know that we will be happy to re-record this side quest and do nothing but plant our lips against your ass.
Yeah, if you want me to recount every single principle I pretend to have, then let's talk.
I got my Baby Yoda plushie under one arm and my Hello Smallpox under the other. I'm ready.
Hello Smallpox.
I'm ready to pucker up.
It's like, so guys, let's talk about how awesome the Little Mermaid really is.
All right. Did we wrap this up?
Let's wrap this up on on the knowledge that we're assholes, but we can be bought for a price.
Yeah, thumbing our nose at a corporate giant while secretly hoping they'll give us money to not do that. That's pretty much where we live as artistic types. But yeah, listeners, I hope you signed up to Disney Plus with your soul and that you're enjoying it. In the meantime, join us next week for a regular episode of Authors and Dragons. And until the next side quest, we say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.